All right. We do this one first, and all I'm going to say before you knuckleheads is I will probably join you later, and I had never seen this before the other day.
We're
I,
talking deep
I
red.
picked this on its reputation.
Are you talking about? We're talking about Deep Red or
Deep
Profondo
Red.
Rosso.
Dario Argento's Deep Red.
I can't tell you how much I loved this film. I've never seen that much giallo, and I started watching it. And yeah, the story is insane, but man, this film is so stylish. A
Well,
beautifully
that's
composed.
like the whole thing about giallo.
I know they're beautifully composed scenes everywhere, and sumptuous furniture and great architecture and amazing street scenes. And you just want to move into this fucking movie. It's great.
Great locations.
Yeah, it was all this. It was like all the red in there and all.
Holy shit! The colors.
Oh, yeah.
They do pop.
They pop.
Oh, the red in this film is off the hook.
And how about that Art Nouveau house they found?
Oh yeah. Via Scott in Torino.
That's the name of it?
Yeah, Via Scott. Yeah, that's why
It's
they didn't.
amazing.
It's a real old, it's an old school, very valuable kind of like a mansion, which is
so
why
they just trashed it for the movie. It
which
was
is
actually
why they didn't actually set it on fire during the last.
That was convincing, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was not very convincing.
That was a total miniature, right?
It was like a superimposed fire over an actual picture of the house.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
It's
They
what it
tried.
looked
You know
like.
what? They tried.
It was like 6 lighters somebody was holding up or something.
It was like the city burned down the end of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Like, no, not quite.
Yeah, nope.
It looks like barbecue. All right, good enough.
Has anyone like seen a lot of giallo?
Not that much.
This is my first.
I've seen. Well, I was gonna pick Suspiria. I had seen, and I actually knew that one. I think Suspiria is cooler looking. I mean, it's certainly it's bonkers, but it's also it's very striking visually with the way that they lit it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I seen was it Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and then
I saw that too.
I was gonna wait, but I mean, I watched Dressed to Kill. Hey there.
Hello, children.
Hi, sweetie. I watched Dressed to Kill immediately after finishing this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is an American giallo,
Sure.
as is Eyes of Laura Mars, and I can think of a few others. I mean, I've probably seen.
What's that one with the Hannibal Lecter? Was it called Hannibal? The second one? The one
Hannibal.
Yeah, my God, that was like I'm seeing that and then watching this and realizing that the coding is all the same. The generic parts of giallo are just so there's a lot in there. They pack a lot of rules into that thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm because I'm just getting into it. I never had
a bunch of
seen
them
them
right now.
Yeah, there's so many. And my friend who shot my movie is a big giallo fan, and he showed me a few like opera.
That's another big one.
Yeah, and Suspiria. But I just before this with this collection here, I maybe it wasn't this. It was a collection they did, but anyway, I watched Tenebrae. We just watched.
These are all Argentos.
Yeah, I watched Torso, which is I watched two that are not on Argento. I watched Luca, that guy, not Mario Bava, but the other guy, the Fukuli.
Yeah.
I watched one of his, and I can't remember the name because they have such cool names. Like it was like these long like
and
poetic titles.
Goblin scores a lot of these, right?
Goblin scores a lot of them. The Argentos in particular. This one though, I had never seen. But
that soundtrack, man, holy shit!
Okay, what was the first
public service announcement? Goblin is playing the Regency in San Francisco like this month or next month.
Oh my God!
You know what? I might have to go to that.
Also, okay, what was it when you heard that soundtrack? You knew it was Goblin. What was the first thing you thought, John?
The Exorcist and Mike Oldfield.
No, Dawn of the Dead.
Well, of course, Dawn of the Dead, and I expected them.
That's the first thing. It's like the Dario Argento. George Romero thing is like these guys are tight.
Oh yeah,
The one in this score is so awesome. The one in Tenebrae I love even more because the one in Tenebrae it's Goblin as well, but they're doing a lot more synths. It's super cool. But yeah, like the first thing that I thought about giallo when I first really saw one, I think it might have been opera, was like I was kind of revolted by it because it is so perverse and super ultra violent.
Yeah.
And it was almost too much. Like I felt like I had to take a shower afterwards. And And then I started to be like, oh, but this is the shtick. I mean, this is where all the slashers of the 80s in America came from. You know, the opening of Halloween is Giallo style, all of Friday the 13th is
the murders are very specific in this movie, and they're icky. They're
this is like
gruesome.
Yeah,
this is like nothing.
They always kind of.
You should watch Opera, dude. That shit will knock you on your ass.
Okay, well.
Opera is insane.
Within
this was good.
The woman who got scalded before she got murdered was probably the worst.
Oh yeah,
the guy getting his teeth knocked out was pretty bad.
The country home with
Carlo Rambaldi, who made The Alien and E.T., was also King guy on this movie.
And the King Kong from the 70s. King Kong.
I don't know if I bought the country home with the hottest tap water in the world. I don't know if I buy that.
Hey, but turn it up a little hotter, Tony. A little hotter. We need some hot water. We're making pasta or something like. Who knows, right? But
I'm getting into them though. Like this was.
Why the fuck did you turn on the hot water?
What a red herring that whole thing was, man! It was like, oh, he's got what was the words that you could read?
It was.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks. That was 20 minutes of the movie that added up to fucking nothing.
Also, behind Chris, who would want to live in a house with paintings that look?
Oh God, no, right? Dude. So freaky.
God, it was like. But the thing is, the path that's like, I don't believe this for a second that someone live in a house with paintings that frightening. But also, talk about style.
The
whole thing becomes almost like.
Okay, guys, isn't this style over substance? Because the story doesn't make any fucking sense.
1000%. In fact, I'll go further. Even though every movie is good, I think I've watched enough Giallo at this point to. First of all, yes, it's style over substance, but that's sort of the point, so I can't criticize it for that. But what I can criticize it for, I think, in a minor way, is they're all very clunky. Like
super clunky.
I mean, watch. I've probably seen maybe like 10.
Well, they're
total
all post-synchronized.
Well,
that adds to it for sure.
But even the filmmaking and the editing of almost all of these giallos that I've seen is just very clunky. It's very sort of hodgepodgey. It doesn't really have a flow.
Yeah, Jared. And the weird thing is, it's like, what, Jim?
Compared to what the other Italian directors were doing at the time, it's actually pretty unclunky.
Really?
Except for maybe like Rossellini or Antonioni
Fellini.
Actually, there were moments in this that reminded me of Fellini.
Well, I love that Edward Hopper set.
Yes.
Bar blue.
Did you notice, Jim, that nobody was moving? The actors were sitting perfectly still.
I saw somebody move finally.
But when he was outside talking to Carlo, and the diner was behind them, all the actors were like statues. It was really weird.
Oh, that whole scene was
shot's so cool.
Yes, that shot is that. I was laughing out loud. That's
there's a
hilarious.
Diner, like Edward Hopper diner. Then across the street is this gigantic statue with the fountain going. And at some point, you got these guys working both ends of the screen.
Yes.
Oh, it's great.
Well, yeah, because they keep walking through it,
and they're shouting the dialogue.
I know. But the thing is, it's like, draw attention to the art direction, please. This is what we're here for, man. This
is super cool.
I really thought of besides Hopper, there was also all the scenes of them on huge sets, and there's nobody else. There's at most two people talking, shouting at each other.
Like
that made me think of De Chirico, the Italian surrealist painter.
Oh yeah, which came up when we watched the other Italian one last year, Jim, that you picked. With
the Passenger.
No,
that was the first year, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. The black and white. Monica Vitti's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was mine.
No, that was actually
La Ventura.
La Aventura. Yeah.
The sequence behind Chris with the robot.
That was one of the coolest moments.
I could feel my soul leaving my body. I was like,
dude, when that thing comes in the fucking room, dude.
No, it's like
you can't help but like shit yourself a tiny bit, dude.
Thank you. You can see why this is so influential. It's like I was like, ooh,
that's the thing.
Man. It's like it was so crazy.
This movie is a hot fucking mess. But I get that, like, again, I watched Dressed to Kill going, oh, if you've got a director that actually knows what the hell to do with the camera. Now that movie is also, it's not aged very well, and it's got the same De Palma ending from like 4 or 5 of his movies.
Well,
he
but
knows how to move the camera.
Yeah,
also,
and he knows how to cut it together. That's a great.
And that's the thing. And the
also,
music,
Jim has a good observation about David Hemming and what the character from this.
Yeah, I was surprised at how similar it is to the Antonioni English film that he's in.
Yeah,
Blow Up.
They're almost
because they're both like, it's like Miss Marple as an English.
Well, and how I thought about this the whole time though. How outrageous and absurd is it that a pianist gets involved, like takes this upon himself to like solve a fucking murder? It's like, come on, dude. Like, and I feel like
I thought he was an engineer.
He's an engineer.
Yeah, he's an engineer.
No one's mentioned.
But there's
how wonderful.
I think this is I think a little bit about like signature of Giallo's too, is like the characters are never, it's never like the cops are not the leads, it's always
introduction is he's eating that sandwich.
Oh God, he was a ham, dude. That fucking guy.
Big time.
Hamming it up.
I hate European sandwiches because the bread goes out like that at the end.
And the crusts are cut off there.
I know. It's like
also and then you have the CinemaScope.
Oh, it's just cream cheese spread on there anyway. But,
I know, it's disgusting. All right, probably butter actually, which is.
But yeah, I think that like they always have. It's always like artists. It's like fringe artists that have to be like the leads. And they have to figure out everything. But like,
no, that was instant code. It was like, here's the cop eating a sandwich at the murder scene, so we know they're not going to be of any use.
Yeah,
but it's like all the shit that Mark kept finding. You're like, give that shit to the police, dude. They went like, come on, like you're fucking doing really well.
Just call that cute reporter instead.
Yeah, the gal, the cute one behind Chris. I like her. I wish it was her movie.
I don't know. She was awesome. The character was cool.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's cute. Kind of manly looking.
Well, no,
but,
cute kind of like a Eve Art.
First, I thought she was.
But she won in arm wrestling, and that was awesome.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, that's why I thought she was going to be the killer.
Me too.
Oh, interesting.
I thought
in
so
fact,
too.
There's a shot. There's a shot.
Telegraph it.
After he what happens? Oh, he gets clubbed on the head.
Yes.
In the house.
You think that's her because they show her
this
coat.
Slow camera up until you see her face. And it was like, oh my God, it's her. And she's just like, are you okay? And then
yeah. But even that was a little like, is she fake?
I know.
It was great. You were really thrown off the path on this one.
It really did make you think like 3 different people were the killer at some point.
Did you ever figure the ending out? I didn't. I was like,
the ending doesn't make any more sense than anything else.
No, it doesn't. Not really. Although
I'll tell you, Scott, the point where I was most invested in plot was early on, before I'd sort of been jerked around by this movie, and it's the psychic, the German psychic.
Yes.
Her scene's really good, and there's intense close-ups. And yeah, she's Jewish. You could tell by the huge menorah in her apartment.
Hold on. Were you guys watching this in Italian or the half English, half Italian?
No, full Italian.
Subtitled.
Well, it's dubbed and then subtitled.
Well, it's always dubbed.
Going back to it, because it was.
Wait, what, Chris?
This movie was shot in English.
Yes, it was.
They lost a bunch of the English language material, and so the version I watched goes from English to Italian about 47 times during this movie. Randomly.
Well, I watched it on Criterion Channel.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, they give you both versions, and I must have had the English one because I had read that they filmed it in English. So
well, it's obvious that
where not only is the looping bad, but the language changes from scene to scene.
That's all that's almost all Giallos.
No, that's Italian cinema. That's how they film all spaghetti westerns too.
Well, so
by the way, Aguirre Wrath of God is almost the same story.
Same thing. Yeah. It's all shot MOS.
You guys read,
and they lost the footage,
usually in English,
tapes.
So I read that, especially in Giallos, they would hire actors from many, many different countries and let them all speak in their native tongue on the set. And then they would dub in the English translation or the Italian.
Mine kept changing, and I'm like,
that's entertaining.
Crazier.
That's entertaining.
I love that shot behind Chris. I mean, this movie looks beautiful. It's so stylized.
Night for American Night. What's it called?
Day for Night.
Day for Night, where the Italian actress or the French actress is going, oh, but Frederico lets me just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, she just counts no numbers.
Lines.
Now, mind you, although this film is very stylish, it's also working around some serious budget limitations. You know, like,
sure.
Yeah, it wasn't made for a lot of money.
It's also like why, and I've noticed there's so many things in giallos that I think are these like tropes that they use that they always kind of have. There's so much like I know this guy, a lot of stabbing, but that doesn't bother me as much as like when people explore something in a giallo, they're doing it for way too long. Like, why are we watching this guy walk around the house for like literally like half a fucking hour?
Oh yeah.
Like, can we stop? Like, this is fucking stupid. Like,
Jared, you're right.
Know
you're right. My goodwill for this movie was from the beginning. It's like, oh, it looks amazing, and it's a cool period of time, and it's fun, and I like the scene with the German psychic, and it was just like it was diminishing returns for me as the thing went on.
Well, because he's walking around the house. Also, now on the record, I love the fucking Goblin. I love the soundtracks. I love all of these.
I put the link in the chat.
Isn't it distracting though?
But well, here's the thing. It's so poorly edited in and out. Like it comes in like a fucking freight train. It'll cut off for no fucking reason. And this is like Godard did that on purpose to fuck with you. These guys just don't know any better. Like they don't know how to ease in a score or drop it or like the editor, like the sound editor is
right. There's some guy with a turntable and needles. Like ready, 3, 2, 1, drop, and they just like
right.
Yeah, but you're right. The part where they're going through the mansion, the villa, and looking, it went on forever. And I think my part of it's like we spent a lot of time making this set look like it was a ruin. We're going to see all of it because we paid the bill.
We spent some money on this. So, I will say, to compare the two movies, it's actually the storytelling is more cohesive than in Phantasm, which is we'll get to that. But I mean, that's just
there
chaos.
Was a story in Phantasm?
That's just fucking chaos.
All right. So, but yeah, I did. It was obviously a murder mystery going on. I couldn't figure out what the fuck it was, but I didn't care. Because it was such a because it was a cool universe. I was in a cool universe for a while. It was like
they also do like
fun.
But tell me you weren't confused. Okay, the very opening of this movie is so idiotic and fucking stupid and confusing.
You mean the murder of the Christmas tree?
No, I'm sorry. Not the cold opening, but the no, what happens is we see a little band orchestra playing. He's at the piano sort of leading them.
Yeah.
And they kind of break and he goes, okay, that was good. Maybe too good. Maybe we need to relax. And so you're like, okay, this is a character in the movie.
Yeah, right.
And then the fucking camera goes, oh, let's go down the hallway into this other fucking room and show you this psychic lady who's also having in the same fucking building some kind of event. And she's talking. And now you're like, what the fuck is good? Like,
nope. I
just think Americans and somebody else would have been able to be like, I know how to introduce these two people so less clunky and so less stupid and confusing. I can why did he put them in the same building?
You know what, Jared? It would have even just better if you just switched those scenes and had this German psychic as the first scene and then introduced the main character.
Well, maybe they're trying something. They're saying something.
Even that would have been better.
Even just a cut. Like, why does that have to be in the same building? Why is it down the? I don't understand. Anyway,
neither do I, man.
But I like the hanging babies.
It could have been a statement about how random it all was. It's like so the guy had no reason to be doing a murder mystery. He's an engineer, pianist, or whatever.
It's not random.
Just got sucked in because it was like he managed to be at the right place at the right time.
Best friends. Spoiler alert.
Best friends. Spoiler alert. Best friends.
Best friends.
Not his best friend, although that's what we think.
Well, one of his close friends' mom.
It's great how he keeps telling that guy, you really shouldn't drink so much because you're going to die. He's the only main actor who's still alive.
That's pretty funny. Well, golly, I
thought this was a hot fucking mess, and yes, I think that because I watched it in the half Italian, half English, it was even more of a hot mess. The acting seemed worse because of it.
It's the acting's bad.
And how about the weird tonal shifts? So the lady gets scalded to death in the bathtub, and the next scene is a gag scene with the guy and his reporter girlfriend trying to get in the car with the visor keeps falling down and the door sticks. The car's funny, but I mean tonally it's just like it's
I only picked this because I was gonna pick Suspiria, like I had that ready to go, and then I just happened to read something ranking the giallo movies, and more than one of those lists put this one on top. And I'm like, maybe we should watch that.
So did Criterion when I read an article.
And I'm like,
that this is the quintessential.
The I'm like, really? Like
I think all of your
like I said, I put on Dress to Kill immediately afterward, which is De Palma's attempt to make, and it's got so many of the same tropes. It's got, instead of Goblin, we got Pino Donaggio, who did Carrie and a bunch of other De Palma movies, and it's the same sort of weird unreality melodrama Nancy Allen and some kid who happens to be a whiz with inventions,
like computer
tracking
kid.
down the murderer. The cops are completely ineffectual. But it's, again, because De Palma is so more disciplined than Argento, I find, even though it's bonkers and makes no fucking sense by the end of it, it was so much more enjoyable to watch because I felt like the director knew what the fuck he was doing.
Right,
yeah,
I just smoother ride.
That's one of my favorite.
Argento would stumble into these moments of like, well, that's pretty cool, and then follow with like 10 minutes of, I don't know what the fuck is happening right now.
That's what I feel like.
I feel like I liked about this movie.
I feel like Argento is like,
that's a plus for you, Jim.
Yeah.
But like with the extreme close-ups, I feel like Argento's like on his set going, I don't know what to shoot next. Ooh, how about these baby dolls? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. How about
and he's just like doing it.
Kept the 360 eyeball.
Like nothing feels that planned, you know?
Yeah. Here's some marbles.
Yeah.
Marbles.
Here's a close up of the needle on a record, which is cool. It looks cool.
Just like Ozu films or other kinds of films from other countries, it just felt culturally
it's a
different.
Quiet meditation.
The Italian cinema,
it's just like Ozu.
Italian cinema has different rules. Like Ozu cinema has different rules.
Sure.
And so the rules about that are more on the surface. They're more about like color and impact and design than they are about telling a really tight story. And so it's like it comes off a little weird to us. That's all.
It's kind of like a poster design aesthetic, really.
Thank you. Yeah.
Here's a cool image.
It's the reason I like The Big Sleep so much. It's like I defy you to give me, a 10-minute précis of that.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I don't understand what happened in that movie, but it's fine.
I'm definitely like here.
Let's go to the card. Let's go to the cards, man.
Yeah. I'm thumbs up because it's so.
There's a great. If
this is the best one, I'm not super excited to go see another one because
there's a yellow block on Criterion.
I know.